Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to discuss and clarify a few matters. Una-una po yung inventory na ginagawa ho natin as part of our efforts to streamline all of the processes here at the Office of the Ombudsman. Pangalawa po, yung lumalabas po na news sa tungkol sa AMLAC, yung paglabas ng or paglift ng freeze order. I wanted to clarify that because it seems as though there are some news articles that may mislead the public in the effect of this lifting of the freeze order. At pangatlo po, if you have questions about the subpoena that was tackled yesterday at the impeachment hearing in Congress, I will also gladly accept questions regarding that. So perhaps we can go topic by topic. Kung sino man ang may questions tungkol dun sa tatlong topics na yon, please go ahead.
Sir, sa inventory muna, sir, ano po yung naging reason bakit kailangan natin magkaroon ng physical inventory? Meron ba tayong mga specific case na hinahanap or gustong ma-expedite yung case?
No specific case that we're looking for. This is just part of the effort to make sure that the Ombudsman Boying Remulla, has a good baseline of cases that we really need to resolve. Ang lumalabas po kasi sa aming pag-analyze sa records natin, we only started digitalizing records way back in 2017, no? In which case po, there were some cases that are probably still in the form of loose papers and records, no? We wanted to make sure that we had a good grasp of our inventory para malaman ho natin kung ano yung mga kaso na kailangan pang i-resolve. The marching orders of the Ombudsman is to make sure that we have zero backlog. So ito po yung isa sa mga ginagawa ho ng opisina para po ma-achieve po yung zero backlog na goal ni Ombudsman Remulla. And it also came to our attention that itong mga cases na ito na malamang ay nandyan na hindi pa naka-record sa sistema ho natin, hindi pa po na-digitize, ay yung mga respondents ho niyan ay mga nagre-retire na. So kukuha sila ng clearance, yun pala for their retirement and to be able to receive yung retirement benefits ho nila, ngunit meron pa pala silang kaso na hindi namin alam. So that's why we are reaching out to all to the public, especially of course yung public officers ho natin, na magsabi kung meron silang nalalaman na kaso, meron sila na maaaring wala ho sa sistema natin. And this will form part of our inventory. Siyempre, dalawa ho yan. We are asking the public officers who may have cases, but at the same time, we are doing our internal inventory. So within the next 3 months, iikot po tayo sa buong bansa kung saan may mga Ombudsman's Office, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, may mga satellite offices dun ho tayo, to check physically yung mga loose papers po and loose records, no? So this is part of our digitization efforts then.
Sir, part din po ba ito ng paglaban natin kontra katiwalian sa loob po ng Ombudsman?
Yes, of course, kasama na din po yan, no? Right now, we are really trying to digitize and making sure na in the process na wala po tayong unnecessary human intervention sa mga proseso ho natin. And I think yun po ang pinakamadaling or low-hanging fruit na pwede namin gawin to try and prevent yung corruption dito sa mismong office ho natin.
Sir, yung pag-inventory ninyo is a way din para mabilis yung pag-disposition ng mga cases na pending sa Office of the Ombudsman?
Opo. Sakto po yan. Mismo yun po yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nagdi-digitize ng lahat ng records ho natin para makita ho natin yung aging of cases from the evaluation stage, fact-finding, preliminary investigation, and even cases filed in court already. Magkakaroon po tayo ng isang dashboard para makita ho yan in one instance kung ano yung pending at kung anong stage na po yung mga kaso.
Right now, initially, gaano karami yung nasa inventory na cases ninyo na pending in the Ombudsman? At ano yung pinakamatagal na simula siguro how many years nang pending yan pero hanggang ngayon hindi pa na nare-resolve o wala pang disposition na nakita nyo so far sa ginagawa nyo ng inventory?
As for your first question po, kung ilan ang kaso na pending, I can only speak for the office that has been inventory or subject to inventory, at yun po yung high-ranking officials. There are about 350 cases that are pending from as soon as we came in. May nakita ho tayong 350 cases. But we are systematically also going through those cases to make sure na ma-dispose na rin yung kaso na yon. As to your second question, kung ano yung pinakamatagal na kaso, we've found a case that's been pending for about 12 years already. And that for us is way too long already for somebody to be subjected to processes here at the Office of the Ombudsman. Dahil alam naman ho natin na yung jurisdiction ho natin, mga public officers ho yan na kailangan din magtrabaho. Ngayon, pag meron silang kaso at hindi nila alam kung ano yung nangyayari sa kaso na yon, minsan nakaka-apekto ho yan sa trabaho nila, and it affects their service to the public.
As a matter of procedure, gaano ba dapat katagal, kabilis yung proseso ng pagtalakay ng mga kaso na pending dito sa Ombudsman?
Magandang tanong ho yan, and when we came in po kasi, naabutan ho natin yung dating rules, no? Yung guidelines for the procedures dito sa Ombudsman. Dati ho, for simple cases, they are given 1 year. And then for complex cases, 2 years. Ang ginawa ho natin, nirevise agad natin yung rules na yon. In fact, the IRR is being debated on right now and being discussed para ma-finalize ho yan. Pero sa bagong rules po, magiging 90 days na po for fact-finding and then another 60 days po for preliminary investigation. Tinapat ho natin yan sa preliminary investigation period doon sa DOJ. And sa tingin ho natin, kaya naman natin gawin yon, especially with all our efforts to digitize and to build capacity here in the Office of the Ombudsman.
Sir, yung termino pong parking, ito din po ay napag-uusapan pag sinasabi pong ombudsman. Ano po ba yung ibig sabihin nun at paano po siya maiiwasan at ano po yung ayaw nyo mangyari?
Yung parking po, kumbaga tinatago daw ang kaso. These are obviously, there are reports about that scheme, no, na may pinapark na kaso dito, and obviously yung kahulugan nun is hindi pinapagalaw ang kaso, no. And I think yun po talaga ang magiging result, no, nung bagong rules, na wala nang mangyayaring ganung parking dahil makikita na ho natin in one glance kung alin ang mga kaso ang tumatagal sa bawat stage, no. And now that we've installed periods and shorter periods at that, we will make sure that the cases churn out at the right time.
Okay. Another issue, Ayo.
Yes po.
Regarding on the SALN, yesterday, kinrad ng House Justice Committee yung subpoena for SALN of Vice President Sara Duterte. Na-receive niyo na ho ba yung subpoena o ready na itong mga SALN at isasabit na lang sa House Justice Committee?
Yes, when we first came into the office, ang una nating ginawa ay isinapubliko ho natin ulit yung SALN ng mga public officers, no? And in that same statement, we even encouraged the other branches of government to do the same, to make their statements or their SALNs public, no? Dahil public document naman ho talaga yan. Ngayon, nung narinig ho natin ang news, dahil minomonitor naman ho natin yung impeachment proceedings, nag-votation sila para to determine whether or not they would issue a subpoena. But here in the Office of the Ombudsman, any person can request. The public, the general public can request for a copy of the SALN of those that are in the possession of the Ombudsman. And those are the President, the Vice President, heads of constitutional commissions, and LGUs sa mga area offices ho natin. So even a simple request would do, no? And so much more if it is a subpoena, we will comply.
Sir, maski po yung mga panahong siya ay nasa Davao City pa, siya po ay mayor at vice mayor, kaya niyo po ibigay po?
Yes, that would fall under the area offices, no? So we would have to direct or endorse the request or subpoena to the proper office that was the repository of those SALNs, which is yung sa Mindanao office ho natin.
Sir, mabilis lang ng proseso, kayang-kayang ilabas agad pag nahingi?
We have streamlined the processes for all SALNs. Kaya po, pag mag-request po ang kung sino man, mabilis po talaga ang proseso niyan.
Sir, still on Vice President Sara, Kamusta na sir yung mga reklamo pong kinakaharap niya dito, yung sa iba't ibang civil society groups and also, yun muna sir, civil society groups muna. Sir.
We've consolidated those cases that have similar facts. There are times when there are intersections po between the petitions, and we are careful to make sure that we move efficiently. No? Alam naman ho natin at sinabi naman ho natin dati na we are really very careful in the way that we go, that we investigate, especially itong mga impeachable officers. Kasama na din po dyan yung si Commissioner Lipana, no, na may hinaharap din na mga kaso dito sa Office of the Ombudsman. We are very careful to make sure that we do not step on any unconstitutional grounds. No? So, yung investigation regarding VP Sara is ongoing. We are gathering more and more evidence, but at the very end, the inclination of the Office of the Ombudsman is that we have to refer the same to the proper forum for impeachment. Dahil magkakaroon din naman ng trial if in case it reaches the Senate. No? So that, for us, constitutionally, would be the best option as of now.
Sir, to be clear, fact-finding na po tayo sa VP Sara complaints.
Yes po.
Fact-finding.
Fact-finding na po tayo.
Sir, relatedly, Ramil Madriaga.
Okay.
Okay lang ba, sir? Sir, si Ramil Madriaga ay iniuugnay din po kay Vice President Sara. Siya po ay nagpadala ng sulat dito po sa inyo pong opisina. Kamusta na po yun? At yun po ba ay na-consolidate din with the other complaints?
Yes, na-consolidate ho yan. We are looking at the allegations and we are verifying everything that is written in those complaints. No? As for any case here in the Office of the Ombudsman, it has to go through proper verification. And just like in the 18 Marines case, kailangan natin ma-verify or at least we have to measure yung credibility po ng ating mga testigo dito sa Office of the Ombudsman. It is very likely and there are so many times na ginagawang political mudslinging arena ang Office of the Ombudsman. Kaya ang pinakamahirap at pinaka-challenging po na ginagawa ng Office of the Ombudsman is to decipher and determine kung ano dito ang politika, kung ano dito ang katotohanan. And we always want to arrive at the truth, no? But we understand the political atmosphere that we are in, so we are very careful in making sure na objective po ang aming investigation dito.
Sir, dun sa verification po kay Ramil Madriaga, ano na po yung ginagawa natin? Are we talking to him? Are we sinamo na ba siya? Pumunta ba tayo doon? Ano na po yung proseso sa
There have been attempts to dialogue, no, with Mr. Madriaga, no. I have not received a report yet on the talks between the office and Madriaga, pero sigurado ho tayo na lahat ho yan, we will not leave any stone left unturned.
Sir, nabanggit nyo kanina, consolidated na yung mga complaints on VP Sara. Ilan right now ba, ilan yung complaints na nasa Office of the Ombudsman na kinonsolidate natin for proper investigation?
I'll get a report ha. Hindi ko masigurado kung ilan talaga yon. Pero yung meron tayong complaint from civil society, meron din tayong complaint from former Senator Trillanes, and then there's also that was referred from Congress way back. So yun po yung ano, pero I'm not sure if that's the entire universe.
Sir, how will the investigation prosper po dito sa Ombudsman kung meron na pong umuusad na impeachment complaint sa kanya naman po sa House?
Yun nga po ang sensitivities dito. Kaya natin minemonitor ho lahat ng nangyayari sa House, no? If ever there are intersections or if ever talagang one and the same yung mga complaints doon at dito, then we will have to see what we can do still, no? Pero at the end of the day, ang gusto lang talaga natin ay yung accountability lang. Yung accountability ng mga public officers na nagkakamali. So, if ever pwede nang ipasa lahat sa Congress, then we will do so at the proper time.
According to the House Committee on Justice, the processes na ginagawa nila is more on